Morning, everybody. You're listening to the Midwest's Most Dangerous Podcast. It's called Left of Center Pod, LOCPOD. You're coming to you live from NECA IBEW Power in Indiana, Lake County Studios. And we're at the Smith Source Law Firm.
Episode 8.
Sí, muy bien.
Ocho, so say 13.
I don't know what that means.
13?
13.
All right.
Oh, 11, 12, 14, 15. Yeah, 14.
Isn't that 14?
13.
Wow.
So we know how to say ear and 8.
Ear and
Oreja, Trump, 14. 13 Trump ears.
We're getting there.
See? Muy
yes,
bien.
you wanted 13 Trump ears.
13 Trump ears. There you go.
Well, 14 sounds 14 to me, but maybe it's because Quattro is...
11, 12, 14, 15. That's right.
I
think you
took 4
skipped
years
13,
of Spanish,
dude. I know. Well, you even had a tutor.
I took 4 years of Spanish 1.
Nice.
Yeah.
4 years of Spanish 1?
I was excellent. I was proficient at Spanish 1 when I left.
Oh.
I was, I took 1, 2, 3, and then I was a teacher's aide for 1. So I took 1 twice.
Left
and then I had
center.
That counts.
And then I had a Spanish tutor.
Yes, that was. I thought that was a smart idea, by the way.
I did too.
I love that.
That's why I'm fluent.
Well, that's why you know how to say 13 and I don't.
Sí, muy bien.
Is Cuerda del Centro.
Unfortunately,
Left of
Marissa
center.
just corrected you.
That's a copy and paste.
11, 12.
Yeah.
Tracy.
Fuck.
Well, when you say couture, it sounds like Quattro. And then you say quince,
Yeah.
it sounds like
Thanks, Marissa.
5.
Thanks, Marissa.
I bet she only took 1 year of Spanish.
I bet she
1.
didn't
Dude, I
even
told
take a
you.
year of Spanish,
Yes.
and she knows it.
Yeah. 11, 12, 13.
That makes more sense. Doesn't it sound more like
Yeah,
3?
yeah.
All right. There we go. So Tracy Oreja
So this is your
Trump.
Spanish lesson for the day. I hope everybody's doing well.
Is Cuerda
Oh,
del
hey, by the
Centro.
way, audience, John and Kevin are itching to tell you a story. Oh, my
Oh.
God. It's the fucking story of the century. So sit back and wait.
If you like IT, you're going to love this story.
It's on the top of the chart. So I'm going to sit back and let these guys tell this.
Mystery solved over LOCPOD notes being deleted.
We thought it was a big conspiracy. Turns out it's just Tom's big thumbs. You know?
No, I just can't see.
So, all right. So twice during this season, we have these shared notes that we go over, pre-show, blah, blah, blah.
They come in handy for us.
They're very handy. And they're also
Yeah.
good for searching. Like if we have to search like Todd Rokita,
Yeah.
it comes up 48 times, right?
Joe
For-
Hogshead. Or
Sure.
like something that we talk about repeatedly.
Yeah, submarines. Like
We could tell you
today.
every episode that we talked about submarines on.
That's
and
right.
it would just pop up in our notes.
Unless someone decides to delete those notes. And this season, for some reason, 2 out of the 7 notes, so that's that's almost like a quarter of the notes,
Yeah.
were gone.
I'm going to
deleted.
blame it on Apple.
The first time we threw it out there to our group text, and it was like, no, not me. Tom was like, no, I don't know. I didn't do anything, blah, 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 nothing.
Well, obviously, I didn't do it on purpose.
Well,
It's
no
not
one
like-
said, no one is saying this was intentional.
Right.
That's why it's
no
funny,
one's saying
by the
there's
way.
mutiny.
No, there's no
Right.
mutiny in LOCPOD.
I'm not sure. There's like stuff on there I don't want
don't have
to
to-
bubble up. I'm getting rid of these now.
Got to get rid of this from the database. you
Nobody
know?
will ever notice season
right.
13, episode 7 is gone.
Did
You're
we
like,
talk about Diddy in that one?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're like,
You know-
we're like, oh,
you know
we're gonna
what's
be like
up?
Usher. We're gonna be like
Yep.
Usher. We deleted our notes.
That's right.
So then, it happened once. And we're like, I don't know what happened. Blah blah blah. So then, last episode, it happened again, and like we got a shared note with like some notes that look like they may have been on a
It was
mayoral
incriminating.
issue, right?
It was
Yeah.
incriminating.
And I was
yourself.
like, okay, this
it was
is
on a
fucked
shared
up.
note. It's like a notes to myself, and I'm blasting them to LOCPOD.
And then it was like I clicked on like the edit. I never knew you could do this. I clicked on edit. It said Tom made edits at 8:58 a.m.
See, like when
And
I roll in,
screenshot
it
that.
must be all highlighted, and I just like zap it. And
I think it's like
realize it,
I think it's like up on your thing, and you just like.
yeah.
So
It's
what
'cause
really did
LOCPOD's
happen?
always on my
You're
mind.
blind.
I am. I do stuff without glasses on sometimes because I could see enough to be dangerous.
Yeah, I'll say.
So like I could sort of see. Like if you gave me something to read, I could sort of read it, but it's much easier with glasses on. So like I do a lot of stuff on my phone without my glasses on, and then I fuck up.
All right,
things,
don't touch
obviously.
our note or share
Yeah,
note without your
I will
glasses.
stop doing that. I
But good news.
Mystery
IT
solved.
extraordinaire, John saved the note.
How'd you do that?
Boom.
It was crazy, right?
You ready
John?
for this?
Yeah.
Ready.
All right, I got this pulled up on the screen.
So
This
it's like
is-
John saved it.
Yes.
And he,
Yeah.
like the full note too.
Yes.
Yeah. Edited and everything.
Yes.
So I share this show note with this computer.
Uh-huh.
So I had this idea. Let me turn this computer on, turn the internet off on it before I open up the notes so that
Right.
it can't sync. Sure enough.
I just love the idea
Sure
of
enough,
turning
dude.
off the internet. Like that.
Yeah.
Good job,
that
dude.
in itself sounds fun.
I mean, I had to install some things on your network, Kevin. You'll.
Oh shit!
that's okay.
Shit,
New
look at that!
firewall.
All of our fucking audience left. That's crazy. Like, you don't want to hear more about IT? Like, what? Like, this is the most compelling damn story I think we've ever told about.
Actually,
well,
though, no. Hold on. I'm not done picking on Tom. While this is up, let me just share this with the audience here. So this is notes. This is how it pretty much looks like in your mobile phone. Tom, there's a new note button right here. Just use
just
it.
click that,
Yeah,
brother.
No, I know.
click that.
I know. It's not on purpose. I want to point that out. Like,
New note.
not on purpose.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into something more exciting, like your new friendship bracelet that you're wearing.
Yes. Thank you,
this true?
Daphne. Yes. We have
Is it-
fans.
Who?
Daphne. She's a
Daphne?
Daphne
Who's
is a
this?
realtor.
From Scooby Doo.
The
Look at
realtor. I can't say realtor.
Looks like a
said
fancy
realtor.
shirt in Tom's hand.
Yeah, like I was working the room, and this young LOCPOD fan comes up to me, and she gave me a friendship bracelet, and I was like, "Oh!"
But how'd
Does
you know
that
she was
say
a Lockpod
69?
fan?
It
That's a
said
home- that's a homemade
89.
one.
Thank you.
What does it say?
89,
Oh.
89, 89. Yeah, that'd be
Tom got a bracelet that said 69.
like.
Like, how'd you
okay,
know I
talk
was
to you
born?
later,
How'd
Daphne?
you know I was born that year?
Yeah, yeah, that'd be funny. Hey, 1969.
Year of my birth.
That's awesome.
That's her unreleased album.
Yeah, it was 69.
69.
Yeah. So 89 is the year she was born. Is that
I believe so.
Ah,
Okay,
It is
so
an
it's-
album, though. There's the 1989.
so? I imagine that's the reasoning behind 1989.
Kevin, that's the one we are currently researching.
I
It's a
got.
good
Thank
one.
you for the text. Last
It's a good
night.
one.
I listened.
But that makes Taylor Swift 35. Is that true?
I would.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to do math. on it.
35. Quick, do the LOCPOD creepiness factor. Does it work? 35
For who
for Taylor Swift.
and who?
Like,
Tom.
just
And
wondering.
you?
Like, you never know. You never
I mean, I
know.
thought
So-
who were you asking? Does it work with you?
Marissa always tells people I'm her first
34.
husband. So like, you never know, man. Stuff may happen.
You never know.
30. So the LOCPOD creepiness factor again is what?
At half plus 8 or 7, whatever.
Half plus 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
It works.
All right. So I'm 55. So half of 55 is
27 and a half.
27 and a half plus 7.
Oh, she's not.
34
You're right there.
You're right
34 and a
there.
half.
It's right there.
She'll be-
When's her birthday?
December 13th.
Taylor's
December.
coming to Indy, Marissa. Just got to say, you know.
December 13th. Yeah, she's over 34 and a half.
All right. Let's
Wait,
go.
let's get back to this Daphne thing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know her?
No. She's
Wow.
a
I
fan.
didn't know she was a Lockpod fan then.
She's a fan, straight up. Listens to the episodes.
Like she told
No-
you this, or you knew?
Yes.
Oh.
And she knew I was going to a Taylor Swift concert. She was happy for me, and she gave me her friendship bracelet.
And
That's
she
awesome.
brought it for you. That was great.
And I'm wearing it today. And I'm wearing the other
Look
one
at
that
that.
Jill gave me.
That's
there's my two.
That was the. I thought that was the coolest one that Jill made.
I liked
The
it.
Eras
Yeah,
one.
this is a pretty one. Yeah, and then the 89. I feel
This
very
is a
feminine.
pretty run.
It is pretty, man. It's like pretty. It's got all
He's gonna be
kinds of
all
pinks
set
and
for the
everything.
concert, isn't he?
I'm like
Are you gonna
embracing.
get your nails painted?
Why not?
Why you should. Let's all
I'm
go.
going to a Taylor Swift
Let's all
concert.
go.
Oh, look
What
at
do
your
they say?
shirt,
What do they
too.
say? I'll be
Not
like,
happening.
what do they say if you
Well,
paint them?
we could figure
We're gonna
something
put
out.
69?
1989. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
That would be so
oh
funny.
God, that'd
No,
be
dude.
so bad. That'd be so creepy.
69?
No, we're not doing that.
But that could be like I was born then.
Yeah,
I'd have to clarify it all,
every
all night.
time.
Hey, I was born then. Don't
Every
run away.
night. There's an old man with a
Handing
69
out
on his nails.
69 bracelets, too.
Yeah,
He's
probably
handing
not a
out
good idea.
No,
Okay.
No.
So we'll skip that one. Just let's think these things through, though,
Yeah,
because we don't want
that's
to
what
come
we're
off
doing
the-
here.
Good.
We're trying to help
That's
you.
Good. Well, what
We're here
about
to help.
what shirt are you going to wear?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't have a Taylor Swift shirt.
No, I got one for you.
Okay.
Jill, I'd say we get him the Travis Kelce jersey. That's fucking
Ooh.
simple.
Oh, okay.
I
And plus,
really,
you'd
yeah.
have a Travis Kelce jersey.
I do not. And
But
I'm
like
not,
that's what I'm saying. So you'd have a rando Travis
Kelsey
Kelce
jersey. I could do that.
He's, he's going to be a Hall of
I like
Famer.
the Chiefs.
But like I was thinking about doing the Swift 89 for a number, Kansas City Chiefs. Swift
Wait,
89.
that's why it says 89 on the
That-
bracelet.
That's because she has an album named 1989.
And that's her boyfriend's number?
87.
87.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be handy and convenient if you.
Yeah, maybe
he
you could
should
switch
change
it.
his number.
Could you
the hell
imagine? People give him so much shit. Oh, could you imagine?
That would be so funny.
Yes.
That's a good April Fool's joke if you're Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce, you could take that.
That would
I'm
be-
really good at
I
April
like
Fool's
that.
joke. Travis Kelce says, "Hey, in
Announces
honor."
he's changing it. That'd
that
be a
would be
great
so
April.
awesome.
You
in
heard it
honor
here
of
first.
Taylor Swift. I love her. I'm changing my number from 87 to 89. Chiefs Nation would go bananas.
Yeah, you know what? That is an awesome idea. You heard it here first. Tom, the locomotive. That's why
The
he's
Great
locomotive.
Heights. Great Heights. You could take that. Did they take anything else from us? Great Heights didn't steal.
Probably. I mean, we're
Well,
putting
it-
out so much quality.
Okay,
content.
so
Shannon
there you
Sharp
go.
stole our theme
Our
song.
So we're throwing it to you, Jason and Travis. You could take that one.
89.
Okay?
Change your number.
Put it in your calendar right now so you remember on April Fool's Day. That is the best April Fool's joke you can come up with.
I love it.
Okay. So anyway, Yeah, so I was talking to realtors. God, I gotta stop saying
Realtors.
I was bragging about how I knew how to say it the right way, and they laughed.
It takes a second.
Realtors. Did you know that, Joe?
I think you could say
Were you not-
What's the
realtors.
difference?
Yeah.
You don't say realtors.
You can't say realtors.
You can say,
Realtors.
it's America. You can say it however
No,
you
but
want.
it's mispronouncing.
Realtors.
It makes it. It's like when you say realtors, they look at you and they like snicker to themselves.
I
It's
don't
like when
care
people
what
say
realtor
scene
means.
instead of
Rube.
saw.
You don't even know what you're talking about. All the realtors, that's what they do.
Realtors.
Realtors, when you say realtor, they go. Psh.
Hey, that
Yeah,
was a really
silently.
good speech. Or like it
Thank you,
was,
John.
I think I'm going to drop it on social later.
You got it? I forgot.
Yeah, I do.
Could you send that?
Yeah. So,
Dude,
what I liked about it was
I
just
was-
like
said it was
positive,
good.
man. Yeah.
I was
People were,
freaking like
yeah.
in a good zone mentally.
Yeah,
Like
and the
everything was
crowd.
lining up perfectly in my head. And I was just like, bam. I
Nice.
gave a really good speech.
Positive about the city.
It was-
Even a lady got up, like during your question and answer, she was like, "Hey Tom, you're looking fit." You know, like everyone was just so
Wow,
happy.
Look at this. He got a friendship bracelet.
Got a
from
friendship bracelet.
Nice, young,
Yeah.
good-looking gal.
A couple people like left in tears. Dude, I brought him to tears.
Smiles,
it was
man.
that kind of speech.
That's
Was
great.
there alcohol involved?
That was morning.
Yeah.
Orange
Morning.
juice.
And it was,
They
a,
were
and
getting
it was a
ready to
beautiful
golf.
morning.
Yeah, they were like getting drunk probably.
Give me a mimosa.
A lot of
way.
school city questions.
A lot of school city questions.
We should drop. We're going to drop this today.
Let's
We're gonna
drop this
it.
today, John.
Yep. On,
I
the
will
city's-
share it.
the
Don't even
city's
show it to
page.
me.
Yep.
Don't even show it to me.
Okay.
Just drop it.
Got it.
Because it
Like
was
it's
money,
hot.
right?
It was. I thought it was really good.
Thank you,
Yeah.
John.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bring me down, John.
Oh,
No.
we heard that
Tonight, baby.
tonight.
ELO. You
go.
going, Joe?
Oh, is that? Oh, I was not invited.
It's separate. We all have like separate seats. We're not even sitting together.
true.
That's fine.
It's
Whatever.
gonna be fun though.
Dude, like buy a seat and sit separate. We'll all sit separate.
Yeah.
We can all meet before and go to dinner.
I love it.
Let's go. Don't bring me
Come on,
down.
Jill.
No, I don't need a pity
No,
invite.
Come on, Jim.
no.
I
What are you
don't-
talking about?
I don't think we have space at dinner. I only made reservations.
What the fuck is that? Like-
Evil woman.
so John took me to see ELO 2 seasons ago, 2 years ago.
Dude, probably like 5 actually.
What?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah, you're right. It was before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
It was so epic. I was like, I will never miss ELO again if they come
I'm
around.
so
I
pumped.
feel
I
so-
said that to myself, Kevin. I said I'll never miss them if
You're
they
not
come
lying.
around.
You're going tonight.
Dude, you cannot miss this show. If you like ELO, this is the last time you're gonna get to see them in Chicago.
And by the way, it's tonight and tomorrow, and tickets are cheap.
Yeah.
Get them.
I
Like-
feel like they're one of those bands where you don't know their songs and then you go,
Oh,
oh, no,
yeah.
they sing
exactly.
that one. Oh, they sing that one
Exactly.
too, and they're
it
all
goes
great.
on and on and on and on and on.
I like when we went to the last show. I was singing almost every song. It was like ridiculously great.
Yeah.
It really was.
gonna
man.
be good.
This is a really good show. So like, if you want to go, meet us for pizza before. We're all going
Oh,
to
Kevin
pizza.
said he didn't get a seat for me, so it's fine.
Well, you could
No,
stand.
you could,
No,
oh.
you can sit. You can sit in Kevin's seat.
You can
Anna
sit
would
and
much
stand.
rather be there with you. I promise.
That's probably
you.
true.
You could
Like,
sit
go
in the
park
car.
the car, Kevin.
You could just sit
I'll
in the
sit
car.
with
We'll
Jill.
bring you a slice out.
Thank you.
I was
All
in the
right.
paper a couple times this week, sort of
Yeah, you were.
throwing shade on an idea that lots of people are trying to get behind. But I really think, this whole thing, there's a convention center debate going on right now in Lake County where we live. And I imagine, first off, I'm talking about people like Dean White and how Dean White had a convention center.
Can we do a little background?
Sure.
Just so people
Go
that
ahead.
may not live around here. Like, I mean, I think so there used to be a thing called the Radisson Star Plaza at the intersection of US 30 and I-65. Very busy
It was
intersection
a
in Northwest
convention center?
Indiana. It was a concert venue.
And
it
a
was a
convention
hotel.
center. You never went to convention
It
center?
was I don't think I ever
They
did.
had a big
Did they?
convention
Okay,
center.
in the
Yeah.
convention
With
center.
breakout room. It wasn't big, but it was a convention
Okay,
center.
yeah, I've been to like the
They had the big ballroom,
Yep.
and then they had like the side
You're
little
right.
conference rooms.
You're right.
Yeah, that was
You're
a
right.
convention center.
Okay.
It was
And-
a small one.
and it was kind of like demolished and closed kind of surprisingly.
Yeah,
Like-
6 years ago.
I would say more.
Okay.
Right, but it
But like
closed,
demolished why?
gone.
Because first off, the people that own
Great
this,
question.
the people that owned the Radisson, this mini convention center that we were talking about, the person that owned that is a person called Dean White. Dean White is, he's passed since, a billionaire. He's the richest person in the history of our county.
Yeah.
He's worldwide famous. He owns hotels all over the United States of America.
Made his money at billboards.
And he came from Crown Point, Indiana, which is
Yes.
in Lake County, and he loves Lake County. He loves Hammond. He's donated hundreds of millions of dollars all across Lake County. So this guy is like the real deal.
Yeah, after his death, the family created the Bruce and Barbara White Foundation. I think Bruce
Dean
White,
and Barbara White.
I'm sorry, jeez, Dean and
Bruce,
Barbara
Bruce
White.
is
Bruce's
his son,
yeah,
who's also
That's
since
Batman.
who's since passed, by the way.
So
Both-
Dean and Barbara White Foundation, and they've done great things. Like, for example, the YMCA in Hammond, they gave $10 million to, or right, and around the county, they've given money to other great things.
How about this? The Dean and Barbara White Foundation donated, I want to say, $10 million to the old Hammond YMCA. We fixed it up, and within 3 years, they were talking to us about doing a $70 million YMCA down the street, and they already just fixed our old one up. So now we are opening the new one. Hammond contributed $10 million towards that. They're opening up within a couple months, actually. That's what I mean. That's just we're one city.
Yeah, you're right.
We're not even where
10,
he lives.
It was like 30.
The Dean and Barbara White Foundation is into Hammond for $50 million between the two, at least.
And they've done the same thing all around the county.
So here we are. We have this humongous person in the business world in Lake County. He's literally the North Star for businessman. He is the most successful businessman Lake County's ever created. He owned a convention center in his home county and shut it down. I don't think he shut it down because it was churning out so much money. He shut it down because it was red ink and there was no market for it. Who would know better than Dean White? He's a genius. He made money. So I find it hard to believe that government is going to get involved. We're going to build it twice or 3 times as big as the Radisson was, and we're going to make it work. I hate to break it to you guys. This is going to be a humongous white elephant that is a burden to the taxpayers for the next 3 decades. That's how I feel. And I've been talking about it, and it's landing like a thud.
It is? I thought it was an interesting economic argument. I mean, I think you make the argument that government's not going to do this better than private industry.
I don't think we're smarter than
eventually the community or the county that has this is going to be stuck with the bill.
Yeah.
Because I think the state's only helping
for 10 years.
For 10 years, okay.
Why do you think the state's giving us $5 million a year?
Tell you the truth,
because
I'm shocked they did that.
Why do you think, though, Kev? Because it's going to be so wildly profitable, they're giving us $5 million on top of it? Or are they giving us $5 million because they know damn well this is going to be red ink for decades?
I think
$5 million a year?
Yeah.
For 10 years, John.
Oh,
for 10 years. And then after 10 years, you guys are on your own.
To me, it sounded like seed money, or I think maybe I've heard that term.
Why do you think why do we need seed? If this thing was so wildly, profitable, why do we need seed money? All we have to do is put a shovel in the ground and it's going to pay for itself, right? Or there's no market there. And this is money to help you get over the hump. And then after that, you guys are screwed. We're not giving you a penny, and the Lake County taxpayers are on the hook for the rest of it.
I mean, here's a question. And I don't necessarily know the answer to this, but I'm thinking about 2 major examples. Like, aren't our convention centers owned by government usually? Because, I know in Indy it is, but they have a whole separate, entity, right? They have, a whole, don't they?
I love our county, Kevin. And I love where I live. I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday. I love where I live. I really do. Especially during this time of year, right? But when you're talking about comparing us to Indianapolis, it's not a fair comparison to us at all. It's sort of ridiculous for us to say, let's compare ourselves to Indianapolis and what they do there. Indianapolis they got NFL teams, they got NBA teams, they got real freaking tourism, and people fly to their airport in Indianapolis to go to conventions there. Well, that's why they have a government-funded convention center.
Yeah, no, I guess the point I was trying to make, and to actually contrast it to Indianapolis, is in Indianapolis they have a convention authority that gets taxed and funded and everything like that. So that's different than the seed money that's here. No, I was trying to say I thought in big cities where they have these convention centers, there's an extra tax that's involved that helps continue to fund that.
They have I know they have stadium taxes and stuff like that.
Yeah, McCormick Place.
Sure they have their own tax draw is what you're saying.
And I think it's its own taxing authority.
Right.
So that's
sort
different.
of like the park department would be.
Whereas in this one would be 10 years and you're out.
Right.
Gary Hobart, this is the article. Gary Hobart and Maryville all plan to bid on a new convention. Where would these go?
Gary wants it to go right next to Hard Rock Casino.
Where's Hobart?
Hobart wants it to go. There's a park called Patriot Park. Yeah.
I thought Hobart was 30 and 65. No,
that's Maryville.
Oh, Maryville. Okay,
Maryville's going to put it where the old Radisson is, which, by the way, was where we had one for
that's
a decade.
apropos. Yeah.
And then Hobart, Mayor Josh has one that's
who's
proposed.
Listening this morning.
Good. Hey, Mayor. He has one that's proposed. I want to say it's Patriot Park. I think that's the name of it, but it's sort of close to the Maryville's location. I think it's a little bit east and a little bit north. The thing about
right off the highway.
Right off the highway. And it would be visible from the highway. Mm-hmm. And not only that, Mayor Josh is boasting that it's close to 30, which has tons of restaurants and hotels and stuff like that. So
but you kind of have a cautionary tale, I think it sounds like. You're kind of saying
people are
hey,
why didn't
careful.
Hammond had a location that was high on the list. Why didn't you put in? And I said, I don't want Hammond to be burdened with millions of dollars of debt for decades, over something that there's no market for. So I just can't see somebody that lives in St. Louis, and they're like, hey, there's a big convention. I'm going to go. Where is it? Hammond, Indiana. All due respect, right? And they're going to be like, huh? Where's Hammond? Oh, it's in Lake County. It's right outside of Chicago. I just picture people, if they're going to fly from St. Louis, they're going to fly to Chicago, and they're going to stay in Chicago next to Lake Michigan and Navy Pier, and they're going to want to be down there. No offense to Hammond. I love Hammond. But, like, to think that somebody's going to want to drive 45 minutes away and hang out at the Residence Inn in Hammond is a stretch. It is, man.
So you're not...
And then, like, the further away from Chicago, the more of a stretch it's. But, you can't convince me that there's this huge market nationally that wants to come to Lake County. I just don't believe it.
Yeah, and I think...
And I love Lake County.
Suburban Chicago areas have tried to do the convention centers. To me, it sounds like you're not necessarily saying, like, oh, this location's bad, that location's bad. You're saying, like, in general, the convention center is going to be a tough sell.
I feel like if Hammond puts in for it, we're going to build it. We're going to have the state money coming to us for 5 years, and then we are screwed. This thing is going to be churning out nothing but red ink, and we're going to have to come up with millions of dollars every year just to keep the lights on. And by the way, then the convention center, because they're going to be starved for business, is going to start looking for things that we're currently doing. They're going to go to the Hammond Sportsplex, look at some of the big tournaments we have at the Sportsplex, and they're going to say, we want some of that over here at the convention center.
I think I saw that in the article.
Which takes it away from
cannibalizing.
That's cannibalizing.
That's what you said in the article.
Right. So they're going to like take business from Hammond, from Highlands Center, from Crown Point and all the youth sports they do there. Come here to this big convention center. We need room for everything. Or how about like these little like music events that we do? They could take that too. That go to the 312 or the Hobart Art Theater. I tell you, dude, I don't like this idea at all. I think that it's going to become desperate, and it's going to start vacuuming up a lot of the stuff that the cities and towns are doing already.
Well, you're on the record now.
I am on the record.
Yeah, so interesting. It's an interesting concept.
Let me ask you one big question before we move on,
Yes.
okay? How much is this thing going to cost?
Great question. I mean, it's not going to be cheap. It's going to be...
We're like, nobody's even talking. This is going to be $300 million, dude.
You think?
Yeah.
300.
Tell me,
Wow.
is it as big as a casino? Bigger. How much do casinos cost? So we're going to build this $300 million plus.
And the state's
nobody's
in
even
for how
talking
much?
about
State's
that.
in for 50.
Okay.
I'm just saying that would
Okay.
be, if it was 300,
Lake County
they'd be in
taxpayers.
for 1/6.
Lake County taxpayers. Are you comfortable with $250 million of debt?
Is the county involved in this at all?
Yeah, the county commissioners are making the decision. And then the county council and the commissioners have to double the innkeeper's tax if they're going to do it.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
What?
5 to 10%. And they're like, don't worry, we're just screwing over the people that stay here.
So wait, is this a foregone conclusion, or can the commissioners be like, no, we don't want it?
I'm jumping up because this thing is greased and ready to go, John.
Wow.
It's greased and ready to go. It's
Well,
greased
we'll
and ready to
find
go.
out.
And quite frankly, it's greased and ready to go. And they have a location, the favorite location. And Mayor Josh could probably talk to you more about this. But this thing is greased and ready to go. And that's why it's a big deal that I'm stepping up like this. Because why don't we just ask a simple question? How much are we going to be on the hook in Lake County in debt for this? I guarantee you, Kevin, after this date, I'm close. I'm going to say $200 million after the $50 million.
So the article says $100 million over 20 years.
$100 million over 20 years. 50 plus 5 for 20 years.
Gotcha. Okay.
Why is the state giving us $5 million a year for 20 years?
Probably to
Because it's
seed
such a
money
great
to
deal.
help.
Because it's such a great deal, right? Because we're going to be rolling in profits, and the state wants to give us $5 million on top of that every year for 20 years, right? Let me throw a guess out. The state knows there's no real market for this.
Oh, they're like, okay, we'll try to help you, but we know that's not going to happen.
And then after 20 years,
We're out.
you think the state's going to give a shit if we're like in complete red ink at that time?
I don't know. All right, interesting. Well, before we go to break, I wanted to at least do one funny thing.
Hey, before we do this, Kevin,
Yes.
can I tease something?
Yes.
We're going to make a big guest announcement soon.
Oh,
So
yeah.
stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah. It may shock.
Why don't we just
Would
do
you
it?
agree it may shock
It's
some
going to. Why don't you
LOCPOD
just go ahead and do it,
viewers?
man? Just do it.
Oh, you want to do it?
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, we're skipping.
We're going to do it
around
a
on the
couple
note.
times. Well, we'll go back. I mean,
Tom's
John
always
already
like, you skipped the note.
okay.
I was going to say,
Here
just
we
stick
go.
around. We're going to announce a guest, All right,
On
here it is.
Tuesday, our guest is going to be, he's running for U.S. Congress. He's the Republican nominee running for
What?
U.S. Congress of the 1st Congressional District, Randy Niemeyer. He's a Lake County Councilman running against Frank Mervan.
Republican Lake County Chairman.
Right. And he asked repeatedly over a long period of time if he could come on the show, like last season, constantly. And I was like, hey, listen, I don't think it's right. We've never had Congressman Mervan on the show. So, Randy, I don't think it's right that I have you on if I've never had Mervan on. So I said, Randy, I'm going to invite Congressman Mervan on the show. And then once he does it, I'm free to have you, and we'll be fair to everybody, right? We just want to talk to both of you, right? And I reached out to Congressman Frank probably 3 or 4 times. Asked him to come on the show, like 3 or 4 times. And we're nice to each other in public and all that. He's just never gotten back to me. I've done it multiple times in writing. I've done it multiple verbal times. So, like...
The offer's out there.
No, I mean, he knows the offer's out there. He's obviously not getting back to me on purpose.
Last time I saw him, he said that he asked if he could do it remotely potentially.
Yeah,
He's in
I
DC.
told him.
I said, yeah, we could do Skype. We can do anything.
We'll tape it. We'll do whatever. We realize you have a travel schedule that's crazy. Like, we'll do it whenever you're in town. I'll do it on a Saturday morning. Like... So
but Randy was, he was persistent with you.
He asked me 10 times.
Yeah,
he's persistent to come on Left of Center.
Wow.
Well, this is going to be a good interview.
Yeah.
Oh,
and by the way,
be a great interview.
We're going to be professional for sure. I want to reiterate that. I'm saying that, right, Kevin?
We're going to be
professional.
We're going to be, yeah, of course.
Kevin,
no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Of course, we'll be professional.
Honestly,
we're happy he's coming on, and I think it's going to be a fair but tough interview.
Well, yeah, we're not going to kiss his butt.
No.
Right.
No,
and he doesn't expect us to kiss his butt.
He's a tough guy.
By the way, this is consistent with what Pete Buttigieg does, our Secretary of Transportation, who goes on Fox News, right? This is consistent with that kind of stuff. By the way, I think it's a great thing that a Republican nominee wants to come on a show where it's mostly Democratic show with John.
Good for the pod.
Yeah.
Mostly Democrats and John, but
yeah,
but John, you do a good job, and John's going to have an ally. And by the way, Abdul is a conservative radio commentator who was our guest last week.
We've had some Republicans on lately.
Yeah.
So
this has turned into Right of Center.
No, it will never do that, John.
But what I want everybody to know,
Lindsay.
I want Congressman Frank to know. Like, first off, I'm voting for Frank Murvan. I mean, and Randy knows that because I'm Democrat. I was former Democratic chair, right? Randy knows that. It's not like he's going to switch our votes.
I think it's a good way for him to get his message out. I'm interested in asking him some, tough questions and good questions.
I want to ask him about the president, man. Excuse me. I want to ask him about the former president.
Yes.
Like, I think that guy's a horrible human being. He's a horrible human being. I don't see how anybody could think. I don't think Randy. I think Randy's a nice person. I know he's been married a long time. He's got a nice family. I just don't see how people like Randy could say, "Yeah, I think Trump's great." I just don't see it.
Well, we're going to hear him on Tuesday. It's going to be. I'm actually really pumped he's coming in. It's going to be a great chance for us to hear from the Republican nominee for Congress here in their first district.
And by the way, before season 13's out, I hope to have Frank Murvan.
Man, I hope Congressman Frank comes on.
Whatever. I mean, honestly, if he doesn't want to come on, which is God bless.
That's his
him and I
prerogative.
have a weird relationship. So if he doesn't want to come on, I get it.
We hope he does.
But I just want everybody to know we tried to get Frank on here first, and
we are continuing to try to get Congressman Frank on.
Okay. So let's move on to your story.
Let's do some ads and come back.
Kevin, you skipped your thing.
Oh, that's okay.
By the way,
we want to do this when we come back.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, let's reverse for a second.
Yes.
Mayor Huddleston's in chat. He said I should have been in the studio for this conversation about the convention center. Maybe we should get
What day?
in, right?
What day?
All right.
How about next Friday?
How about let's wait and do some communication offline?
Okay.
We'll set it up. Works
how
with all
about
of our
this?
schedules.
Mayor Josh,
Come right now. Just get in your
I mean,
car.
Tom's like
what's
take
the
it
big
easy.
deal? See if you
Friday?
can do next Friday.
Maybe I can't make it next Friday. Let's look at our schedule.
Oh, you getting on a plane, Kevin?
Where are you going?
I don't know yet.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead. We won't do Trump watches, then we'll do it when we get back. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Powered Indiana, Lake County, our premier studio sponsor, is your source for the region's most trusted electricians. Are you thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or does your business have plans to break ground on a new project? Don't leave important projects in the wrong hands. With IBEW Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today to ensure your project's in the hands of skilled professionals who deliver on time and on budget. Find your electrical contractor at poweringindiana.org.
I am so excited for this read. Frankie V's. No need to dress up. It's a casual place. Bring the whole family. We've got plenty of space. A hidden gem in Hammond. You don't have to drive far. Delicious food, great service, and yes, a full bar. Try our homemade pizza chips, Italian beef, sausage, marinara, and more. We've got delicious pizza, pasta, and Italian foods galore. Don't go where they don't remember you. It's just not the same. Come to Frankie V's, where everyone really knows your name.
Total shit.
Visit
Total
us today
shit
at thefrankievs.com for daily specials, full menu, and hours.
For those of you that don't understand the joke, you have to listen to the last show to get that
Episode
one.
7.
Yeah.
Listen to the ads. Don't skip the ads.
What a terrible read.
Why were you excited about that?
You
Just
had to
happened
listen.
to fall
So
my
Jill
way.
doesn't listen.
Jill and Lindsay just come in and they go about their business the rest of the week. They don't give a
I
shit.
listened to the first half of it.
Really? If you don't understand,
You skip the
it's
ads.
an inside joke.
I
Yeah.
have to go to work, and this is political, and I can't listen to
You
it.
can throw
Wake
an
up
earbud
early.
in.
Wake
Throw
up
an earbud
earlier.
in. You can walk around the track.
Wake up earlier.
You know you're on at 8 o'clock. That's not early.
7:30.
I know. That's the first half.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cantrell and Cantrell Attorneys at Law. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? Give Cantrell and Cantrell a call and schedule your consultation with someone who's in the court and at the jail every single day. Call John Cantrell at 219-554-4LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife Kristen make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
Calumet Brewing. Michelob Ultra is the superior light beer brewed for those who understand that it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Containing only 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, Michelob Ultra is a light lager brewed with the perfect balance of hops and wholesome grains, producing a crisp, refreshing finish. With Michelob Ultra, there's no better time to crack open a cold one. Head over to Calbrew or Michelob Ultra social media for info on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Michelob Ultra lifestyle with beers, and cheers responsibly.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
For decades, the Ron J. Prestimer Insurance Agency has been located right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. The Prestimer Agency specializes in a wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Prestimer Agency serves thousands of people and businesses throughout Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. They're here to protect what matters most to you.
All right. Thank you to our sponsors. This next segment, we seem to have a thing on LOCPOD whenever there's something happens with the submarine.
Well, we're lucky we have a local expert.
I'm sort of an expert.
I mean, this hat isn't here for nothing.
That's right. That's not the real hat, by the way. I
It's
always
not?
think I should get rid of that. No, it's a fake.
Wow,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Do you have the real? What do the real
Yeah,
hats look
no.
like?
They have dolphins in the middle of the Hyman G. Rickover name and SSN 709. There's dolphins there.
That'd be a cool hat too.
Nah, that's a fake hat.
Well, at least we have something.
Navy,
we have
every Navy
something for
person
the
knows it's a
SSN
fake. It's
709.
a fake hat. But yeah. So in this case, we're going to talk about something I know little about, which is the Chinese Navy, in particular the Chinese submarine fleet. Like there was.
I don't know much about it.
I'll be honest with you. I don't remember. Well, I was on the East Coast, so.
Were you ever in West Coast?
Nope.
Okay, so always.
Not when I was
East
on
Coast
the. I was no. I mean, the closest to the West Coast I was Idaho, but I was in the East Coast Navy, so we always dealt with Russians.
Do they have similar
Russians
subs?
who are our friends now, right?
That's right.
Our
Just listen.
ally, Russia. That's who I was constantly working with, right, John? Our ally, Putin in Russia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, or can you say whether or not they had the same type of subs that you were on the West Coast as well, or
What do you mean?
like what were you on? Nuclear fast attack, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did they have those on the West Coast
Oh, yeah,
as well?
yeah.
So
No.
there's fleets on both sides.
Boomers
okay.
and fast attack on both sides.
Got
But
it.
so I dealt with Russians, but I imagine China had some diesel submarines back then. But now China is trying to basically close the gap between the American submarine fleet and the Chinese submarine fleet, in particular over what's going on with Taiwan. They're worried about controlling the waterways with submarines, and they can't even touch the U.S. Navy.
Can I ask you, like, when you said diesel, like that to me seems like almost like old. Like what's the difference between a diesel and a nuclear? I mean, it's probably
Diesel's
obvious, but
super loud. So like diesel submarines are very loud.
Sounds
diesel
dirty,
submarines
too.
have to be close to the surface when they're running the diesel. They have to literally be like their sail has to be sticking out of the water,
Right.
to exhaust the fumes.
Wow.
Or else it'll stay in the submarine and kill everybody. So they have to be like it on the surface basically when they're doing that, and it's real loud. Like
so instead of a
everybody can
nuclear
hear it.
reactor, they use a diesel engine.
Yeah, and then when they're not running the diesel, they go on battery power, which is real quiet. So like those diesel boats can be real quiet. They just turn the diesel off and they go on their battery. But usually at nighttime, what is it? At nighttime, they're running their diesel, and in the daytime, they're on the battery.
Gotcha.
So when you're running diesel, you can't see them, but you could hear them. And in daytime, they're quiet as hell.
Gotcha.
And they're
Okay.
deep, and they're deep too.
Yep.
They can go deep on battery, but if on diesel, they have to stay near the surface.
So diesel is just when they're near the surface. Got it.
Right.
Okay.
So China's trying to close the gap. This is all about the eventual war that's going to take place over Taiwan. Eventually, that's going to be the site of World War III or World War IV. So China wants to get ready, and they play the long game. They're not worried about 4 years later like we worry about in America. They're worried about 40 years from now, where they're going to be. And they're smart like that. The Chinese government and Chinese people are smart like that. They think decades down the road, and that's why they're closing the gap so quickly. But, over the years, we started Navy's submarine fleet, the modern submarine fleet in the 1960s, the nuclear fleet.
That was that long ago.
Oh, yeah.
60 years of nuclear subs in the wow.
Yeah, 1960s.
That's so cool.
We had like the Thresher and stuff like that in the 60s, but those are submarines that sank, by the way, the Scorpion. So we lost a lot of sailors with submarine fleet over the years in America, and we've gotten better. We've had casualties on board that killed people, and we've gotten better. We have safety that's unprecedented right now, and
Yeah, no kidding.
knocking on wood, U.S. nuclear Navy has never lost a ship since the 1960s. Has never lost sailors to like a major accident since the 1960s.
Like a reactor issue or something like
Nothing.
that. Right?
We've never had reactor
Great.
issues. Nothing. They had the Thresher sunk, and that was a nuclear ship. It sunk in the ocean. So at the bottom of the ocean, there's a nuclear reactor. So anyway, China doesn't have the same safety issues. China and Russia's Navy are both very dangerous. Well, Russian Navy's very dangerous. People die all the time on Russian subs.
We've reported it.
Oh, yeah. It happens all the time. Every year, there's a Russian sub that goes down. Everybody dies on it, right?
Whoa.
Well, China's newest nuclear-powered attack submarine sank in the spring. So a few months ago, a major setback for one of the country's priority weapon programs, U.S. officials said. The episode, which Chinese authorities scrambled to cover up, hasn't previously been disclosed, occurred at a shipyard near Wuhan.
Now, wait a minute. Why is we have COVID at Wuhan? Now we have the nuclear Wuhan. Now we have the nuclear ship sinking. What's going on in Wuhan, man?
Into the river. And I don't know where
Damn.
they get their fresh water from, but that's not good if you have a nuclear
Yeah,
reactor going
good
to the river,
point.
right? But like if they're getting their fresh water from that river, that's not good. But they're probably not, because those little ports are disgusting where the Navy shipyards are. This setback comes as China has been pushing to expand its Navy, including its fleet of nuclear-powered submarines. The U.S. doesn't know if the sub was carrying nuclear fuel at the time it sank, but experts outside the U.S. government said it was likely. Undersea technology has long been an area of U.S. advantage, but China has been pushing hard to narrow the gap. They have been moving to diversify the production of nuclear-powered submarines. Production has been centered in the northeastern city of Huludao, but China is now moving to manufacture nuclear-powered attack submarines in the Wuhan shipyard.
So are the nuclear-powered... So two questions. One, why do they want to go to nuclear?
Because
Two,
they're quieter, they're deeper. You never have to refuel them. Like diesel-powered has to be refueled with diesel, which is
a good point.
So it means you have to go up to a boat, a surface
like a
ship,
tender or something,
and they have to like give you fuel.
Wow.
Which would blow. I
Ridiculous.
never had to see anybody. We would go undersea for months.
You could literally.
We'd never see anybody. We would like be on a spaceship.
So is it true then that like, it's basically self-sustaining, except like you guys run out of food?
Yes.
So if you had like robots on the sub and they could operate it, it could go forever.
Yes.
Wow.
And they would never go to the bathroom. They would never need fresh water. Like you would be really quiet if there's a bunch of robots on it.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Kevin,
So
did you just leak a secret?
Right.
We have
It would be
robotic
like
nuclear subs.
Yeah. Well, Beijing has 48 diesel-powered attack subs and 6 nuclear-powered attack subs at the end of 2022.
How many does the U.S. have? I mean, just guess.
0 diesel-powered because we're nuclear, and hundreds of nuclear
Hundreds?
on both
Wow.
coasts. On both coasts.
That is awesome. That makes
Yeah.
me feel good.
Oh no, we got these guys covered. We're dealing with the Russians. Like the Russian Navy is way bigger.
Like
than
we're not
us.
worried about the Chinese.
Well,
sub.
I mean, I'm sure we are because Russia's not building and getting better. I'm sure
That's
China
probably
is
true.
right. China's rebuilding, and we have to stay relevant. So, the Zhao class vessel that sank is the first of a new class of Chinese nuclear-powered subs and features a distinctive X-shaped stern, which is designed to make the vessel more maneuverable. The sinking of a new nuclear sub that was produced at a new yard will slow China's plans to grow its nuclear submarine fleet. This is a significant blow. How about this? The first public indication that something was amiss at the shipyard near Wuhan came in the summer of this summer, when a former when a former U.S. Navy official wrote a series of social media posts noting the unusual activity of the floating cranes, which was captured by commercial satellite imagery. Shugart surmised that there might have been an incident that involved a new type of submarine, but he didn't know at the time it was nuclear powered. This is his quote. Can you imagine a U.S. nuclear submarine sinking in San Diego shipyard and the government hushes it up and doesn't tell anybody about it? I mean, holy cow, he said in an interview.
I mean, it's true, right? These guys literally, a sub sank and it wasn't
sank
reported.
In the shipyard.
In the harbor.
Like
Whoa.
when we were in the shipyard a lot, and they would cut our submarine into pieces. They would have huge holes in it where they're not supposed to be holes because they had to take a machine out, right? So they would cut a huge hole in it, like above the water line, and they would pull a piece of machine out that we couldn't get out without cutting the ship up, right? So like you'd be sitting there exposed like that, right? And if something happens and you tilt the ship the wrong way and like water starts pouring in, it freaking sank right next to the pier. A nuclear-powered submarine.
The other thing I don't think I understand, and maybe most people don't, is the size of these things. Like I think to myself, like, oh, there's Tom on the submarine, and it's just kind of cruising through the harbor.
There's 150
These things are
people.
massive.
Yeah,
I was on a small one, and we had 150 people on ours. I would have to swim next to the screw when I did my security swim, and each of them were bigger than me, and they would easily have sliced me in pieces. Easily. Like, it would have shredded me. These things were... It was so intimidating when I'd swim next to the submarine.
Look at the photo of that.
It was so intimidating. I'd be next to the screw, and it's big, and you know it's tagged out, and it can't move. But you're like, if that thing turns one blade, it'll suck me into it, and I'm freaking dead, dude. Dead.
That's scary.
Hell yeah. Those things are massive. And, like, I would be swimming. I thought
21-year-old Tom.
Dude, I would think I was swimming, like, perfectly underneath it, and really I'd be going, like,
along
in
the
a totally
side.
different... You get lost because it's so big. You have no idea if you're going up or going down.
That's crazy.
It's very disorienting.
So what do we see in here? This is like the back end of a
This
sub.
is the X-shaped stern.
Yeah, that's the stern.
And by the way, this is a guy right here.
That's great, John.
Yeah.
By the way, that's an X-shaped stern.
Describe what we're looking at.
So
Tom.
what that is awesome, John. I appreciate that. So normally a Navy ship has a cross. We have Fairwater planes and I forgot what the other ones are called, but ours are like a cross. I guess that's how you could explain it. This is tilted more like an X, which is interesting. I've never seen that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, submarine
Well, it
news.
sank, so maybe X-shape's
Yeah, maybe
not the way to
the
go.
crossway's the way to go.
They're saying that they could probably rehabilitate this ship, but like if it sank, the entire ship, everything that was on it has to be taken out. Everything, the nuclear power, the nuclear reactor, all the switchboards, all the motors and pumps. It has to literally start from scratch. Everything they did on the submarine. It'll take them 3-4 years before they can get back to where they are right now. On that
There's
ship.
ours.
Yeah, so ours are straight up. No, that's not ours.
On the left.
Neither of them.
No,
I know, but it's cross-shaped versus...
Right, that's a cross
X-shaped.
shape, but I don't know what that thing is on the back end. There's no, we don't have
what is
anything
that?
like that. That's like foreign. That's
All right.
that's like another Navy. So anyway, yeah, we've had setbacks in the American Navy before, but we've learned over the 1960s to now. That shows you how far ahead we are of the Chinese Navy.
Is there any Navy that is like the British Navy close? Or is there any other Navy that's
British and French Navy are quiet, and we're the best.
And are we the largest?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's good to
It's
know.
just like
I like it.
It's just like ballistic missiles. It's just like we have the most of everything. We're the most warmongering country in the world.
Thank
no
you,
doubt.
Teddy Roosevelt and the Great White Fleet.
Yeah, right.
That started us.
Yeah. So, hey, we're going to come back after the ads, and we're going to talk about this potential sale of U.S. Steel to a Japanese firm.
Yeah, Nippon Steel.
Made a bid on U.S. Steel, and obviously that's a big story where we live because we have U.S. Steel in a couple locations right in our backyard, Portage and Gary, and this is a big deal. So we want to talk about that. We're going to talk a little Eric Adams when we get back as well. He's the mayor of New York, and he is in trouble.
And we're going to finish it up with some funny Trump.
Funny Trump. Oh, funny Trump
articles.
stories.
Funny
Cool.
Trump things for sale.
Let's talk some Byway Brewing first. Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and an outdoor patio, serving its award-winning craft beer, a chef-driven food menu, and craft cocktails on draft. Their brewing equipment and production facility offers a unique backdrop for their events like bridal showers, reunions, or corporate parties. With their new food truck, they can cater to your corporate and private events off-site. Just off 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Discover more at bywaybrewing.beer. I determined I'm a really good customer for them.
For Byway?
Yeah.
I
Between what
love
we do
Byway,
on the
man.
breakfast, I end up getting catering from Byway I bet you I get catering from Byway personally 6 times a year.
Catering, wow.
I mean, between Big Dam and all that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I see, like, different events. You're right, absolutely.
Like, I'm responsible for probably 6 catering events for Byway a year.
Yeah, so. I think that's right. We've had, like, the fest, like, party there before. You've had breakfast.
It seems like we're always
Democratic
going to
breakfast there. That's great. Well, they do a good breakfast, and they just have good food in general.
And they sponsor LOCPOD.
They do.
We appreciate
Thank you, Byway.
Yeah.
Kuklakis Law. Are you facing legal challenges and don't know where to turn? Look no further than Kuklakis Law, your trusted source for legal advice in Indiana and Illinois. Do you need help buying or selling real estate? Call Kuklakis Law. Forming a new business? Call Kuklakis Law. Injured in a car crash or at work? Call Kuklakis Law. No matter what your legal issue, call 219-671-6347 to schedule your free consultation. Who are you going to call? Kuklakis Law. Hablamos Español.
When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business, Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 55 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more and to schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 today. That's rogersroofing.com or 933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
MCR Partners is your one-stop destination for top-notch expertise in economic development, finance, and planning. With a dedicated team geared up to tackle your projects head-on, they're your go-to comprehensive solution providers. Dive into the world of economic development with MCR Partners and let them guide you through the maze of opportunities. For more information, check out their website at mcrpartnersllc.com. For tailored assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to Matt Reardon at 219-741-9511.
Misprint Printing. Elevate your brand with Misprint, the premier printing and sign solution to Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana with a 30-year legacy of excellence. Their experienced team, led by Rick Baltonsberger, combines innovation and technology to deliver top-quality signs and printing and metal business cards, always on time and within budget. Conveniently located in Munster and Hammond, Misprint is your partner for creating impactful visual solutions. Visit them at misprintusa.com to bring your vision to life today. Wow. Thank you to our sponsors, including our studio sponsor. That might be the first time in many episodes that Tom didn't do the metal business cards.
Yeah, oh, man, I missed it. I was reading the stupid chat board. You guys always do it. I never read the chat board, and then you guys always read it, so I went into the chat board and I got lost.
That's
and
okay.
I missed it.
Thank you, Misprint.
Sorry, Misprint.
That was a good one.
Yeah. I love chat boards. Matt Muta, you are correct. USS Nautilus.
Yeah, I didn't know Matt was such a...
I love... There's submarine nerds out there.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
Matt's
nerd. Big time. I'm one of them.
What's the Nautilus?
Nautilus is the first nuclear-powered submarine.
Wow.
It was commissioned in 1954. That's what Matt said.
Whoa.
Which is crazy.
That is crazy to think about that.
And the person that got the Nautilus, that made the Nautilus, was a gentleman named Hyman G. Rickover. He was an admiral in the Navy.
Your ship.
My submarine was named after him. Yeah. So I know a lot about this gentleman. Obviously, I forgot the decade. I said 60s.
You were close. It was a while ago.
No, I knew it was the 60s for sure. That's when we lost submarines. So
I'm glad you were in the Navy in the
Scorpion.
2000s.
The people that did submarines back then
80s and
were
90s,
like
rather.
They were sort of like test pilots.
Wow, makes sense.
You're cruising around underwater with a nuclear reactor,
Yikes.
right?
Hey, you want to go try this out?
And they probably didn't. They probably didn't carry nuclear weapons right away. They do now.
Yeah.
So I was cruising around underwater with multiple nuclear weapons and a nuclear reactor.
That's kind of crazy to just think about that.
I know. That's how safe they are. Man, that's how safe they are. And
Well, thanks to our sponsors, including our studio sponsor, Nika IBW Power in Indiana, Lake County.
All right, so we have a potential acquisition of U.S. Steel, which is normally a very big deal. $15 billion offer made by Nippon Steel. Nippon Steel is a Japanese-owned steel company. The next closest offer is significantly less than. I think it's more like $10 billion.
I think it's like $35 a share versus $50 a share. Or
Right,
like
that's
that.
what I'm saying. So I'm just doing quick math. I'm from $15 billion down to about $10 billion. I just made an estimation that Cleveland Cliffs, that was their offer for U.S. Steel.
Which is a U.S. company.
So obviously the shareholders would rather have the Japanese bid, take it at $55 a share and get the $15 billion as opposed to selling it to Cleveland Cliffs for $5 billion less.
Yeah, I also read that somewhere that the concern about Cleveland Cliffs is that there'd be a monopoly antitrust issue going on if they got U.S. Steel.
I get that.
Makes sense.
Because
I mean, they're the biggest.
Cleveland Cliffs is the other major American integrated steel maker.
Yeah, they bought what we used to know as Inland Steel here. Then it became something else and something else. And they actually bought one of our large steel mills here in Northwest Indiana,
Yes.
in East Chicago.
Right. So this is a big deal where we live. And it's also complicated because it's in a presidential election year. And if you ask me, like, I don't know, Jill, how do you feel about this issue? Do you have
I don't care.
You don't? You just don't?
I would think most Americans would have the reaction.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, if you can, you want it to be an American company, but
you do. You personally don't really care.
Not really.
John, do you?
Yeah.
Because I picked John, you're more politically involved than Jill is. That's why I was interested in Jill's opinion. I think Jill is typical of the average person. They're like, what? Oh,
especially outside of any steel producing area.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Like
sure.
if you were in the middle, like in Kansas.
Sure.
So, John, you have more of an objection because it's Japanese, I imagine?
Yeah. No, not because it's Japanese. I love Japan.
I love Japan, too.
Just more of our industry being gutted.
Okay.
That's where it comes from for me.
Okay. Middle Steel is owned by a foreigner.
It was, right. That was before Cleveland Cliffs bought it.
That was Cleveland Cliffs.
That's right. That's who had it. You're right, Tom. It was an Indian guy from Middle.
I'll be honest with you. I feel
Can
like...
you say that? Indian
What's
guy?
that?
Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, you can say that.
What am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
from India.
He wasn't Native
I think.
American.
India.
He was
From
India.
India.
They
Okay.
should change the name of their country to make it easier on us. Right?
Are you implying
I don't
Native
wanna be,
Americans
like,
are foreigners,
anti-woke.
Tom?
So...
I mean, John. not
We've
Tom.
already established that Kevin's racist.
Oh, wait, a Native American Indian? Not like
No,
He's
Indian.
Indian.
from
He's
India.
Indian.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
I was trying to remember what I was going to say there.
Oh, we were talking about reactions to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the presidential candidates are getting involved. Neither of them wants the sale to go through,
They're consistent.
right? I'll be honest, as an American, I think it's important we make steel in America. And I'm not saying that Nippon Steel wouldn't, and we are friends of the Japanese, and we're allies of the Japanese, and it's a beautiful country with beautiful people. I just want to go on the record and say that. But we went to war with this country before. And let's imagine this. So we go into World War IV, and we need to pour steel for battleships. And maybe Nippon Steel says, we don't really see it the same way you do America. Or maybe they shut down the steel mill.
So I would think that at that point, the government would
Take it over.
nationalize.
Right.
They'd nationalize.
We've
the
done
steel
that
mills.
before.
Yeah.
We did that in World War II. Right.
Yep. So I mean, the steel would
Okay,
still
so
be
is that what
made
you're
here.
saying? So is that what you're saying, Kev? So do the sale, sell it to Nippon, and if we ever get into a tough situation, we'll just nationalize the steel mill and take it over, right?
But like what could happen in the years leading up to a war? They could just start we're going
Cutting
to close
back.
this part. We're going to close this
got
part.
it
We're
in
going
there.
to close this part, and then they couldn't nationalize anything. So that would be a
So we
concern.
would literally have to build a steel mill from scratch because
Right.
over the years, Nippon Steel just slowly. But what Nippon Steel is saying is, if you let us buy this, we're going to invest hundreds of millions of dollars into Gary's facility, Portage's facility, Pittsburgh's facility.
And that's why I think it's tough for
But Cleveland
local.
Cliffs isn't saying that.
No, that's why I think it's tough for local, local elected officials because, if you have a steel mill in your town or your city, you want to see it be successful. It's a huge taxpayer. It's a huge employer.
Like Mayor Eddy, how does he feel about this?
I wonder.
I think Mayor Eddy, I'm going to presume. In fact, I read a quote from him, Kevin. Mayor Eddy wants Nippon Steel to get it because he's the mayor of Gary, and if they invest hundreds of millions of dollars into U.S. Steel, that directly benefits the mayor of Gary through increased tax revenues, increased assessed values, maybe more people move into a city.
And it's a cool thing to say. I happen to have one of the biggest steel mills in the world, integrated steel mills in the world in my city.
And they're doing $1 billion expansion.
Yeah.
How about that, right?
Think about that.
Because that's what Nippon Steel wants to do, that kind of stuff. I'll be honest with you, man. I think you guys are changing my mind on the air. Kevin mentioned, and we have nationalized steel before, so why wouldn't we take that approach, Kev? Why wouldn't we say, go ahead, Nippon Steel, buy it. You promise you're going to invest all this money. We're going to hold you to it.
If you don't.
And if you don't, we're going to take it, right?
Yeah, we're going to kick you out.
And then if they ever got funny in a wartime situation where they weren't cooperating with the American government, take it over.
Nationalize it. Yeah. Yeah. I
Good job, Kevin. You
Well,
figured it out.
Wow.
I don't know if I did
Mr.
or didn't,
Globalist
but
over here.
but I mean, that's an idea, but at the same
It's a
time,
good idea.
I get the idea of hey man, we want to have these huge companies be American owned. And I think, for example, Trump and Harris are doing what you would expect a presidential candidate to do in a presidential election year. There's no way they're going to come out and say, I think Japan should buy U.S. Steel.
Right.
They're just not going to do that.
It's Nippon Steel buying you. It's a Japanese company, but
Right.
it's not the country of Japan.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I think that you could even see the arbitrators recently. That panel said it was okay to go through. So the arbitration panel. gave
Okay,
it a
that's
green
interesting
light.
too, because now the union's involvement. The union is anti Nippon Steel because the union's worried that I imagine Japanese countries may be tougher to deal with if you're a union.
Could be.
Maybe they're more stringent. Maybe they're more sticky as far as negotiations are concerned. I'm just asking questions.
I wonder
right?
if their contracts would hold.
I wonder if they're worried about whether or not their contracts will hold. There's a number of reasons why the unions, the steel workers, are nervous about a Japanese company buying U.S. Steel. Okay, so they went to arbitration over this, and the arbitrator said, Kev,
They said it was the sale was okay. They okayed the sale. They said it would be fine. In fact, an arbitration panel cleared the way for Nippon Steel $14.9 billion acquisition of U.S. Steel, but noted the deal may never happen given political opposition to both parties.
all right, Kevin, I'm changing my position on this.
Oh,
Because of you.
uh-oh.
Thank you.
Okay.
You have. Honestly,
I didn't mean to.
I think that we could use the billions of dollars of investment that Nippon Steel is talking about. And Cleveland Cliffs isn't talking about that.
Well,
so why not give Eddie a shot in the arm? Why not give the mayor of Pittsburgh a shot in the arm? Why not give the mayor of Portage a shot in the arm and have U.S. Steel invest hundreds of millions of dollars into the local economies?
I mean, from a local economy standpoint, I don't see how it's a bad thing. But it's a national issue, and you're still going to make steel in America. It's just going to be owned by somebody else.
That's
I mean,
right.
we did it with Middle.
Right.
I mean, we saw it happen with Middle. It was fine.
We have a Toyota plant in Indiana.
That's right. We have
People
a
buy
Subaru plant there.
Subaru,
yeah.
right.
And so I think you looking at Middle, like Middle actually reinvested in that mill that was going down. So like that's an example of a foreign company owning an American steel company that actually invested more.
Right.
And by the way, it got reacquired by an American company.
Hey, here's another one. Hutamaki.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Man,
there
they
you
do
go.
it right. They're like
$100
Swedish
million
or Norwegian or
Finish.
Yeah.
Dude.
$100 million expansion they did right in
something.
hand.
And like pro level. I mean, the landscaping's beautiful. Like, it's not some cardboard box they threw up. It's nice, man.
They're not joking around from
It's
Finland.
mutual love, though. We take care of them, too, by the way, John.
Tom, you brought up something very interesting early on about like shareholders and shareholder interest, right? So
shareholders want it.
So one of the things I read in an article is that U.S. Steel's kind of like almost like fighting back in a way, and to me it almost sounds like a shareholder thing. They're like, okay, well, you know what? We might move our headquarters from Pittsburgh to Arkansas, and we're going to close down some mills, and like so they're like kind of like saying, all right, you're not going to let this go through.
See, that's I've learned a couple things running for Congress about steelmaking, and Pittsburgh and Gary are integrated. I think Portage, maybe. I'm not sure about Portage, but Pittsburgh and Gary are integrated, which means we pour molten, steel,
blast furnace stuff,
blast furnaces. All these places in Arkansas, everything down south. Not only are they non-union, which is a big threat. Obviously, the steel workers. They're also, I
think they're called mini mills.
Mini mills. It's electric arc.
Yes,
basically.
You got it,
and it's cheaper, and it's not as
you're smart, dude.
It's not as fixed as the integrated steel makers are. So if Nippon Steel falls apart, the owners of U.S. Steel are like, screw this. You guys are killing us. Nippon Steel is going to put billions of dollars into our integrated steel making facilities, and you guys are killing us. You guys, the federal government.
They're going to save our integrated steel.
Right. So then they could easily close those companies down. They could easily close them down and say, we're just going to go south and we're going to go to,
or stop investing,
We're going to go to more non-union parts of the country. I'm telling you, man, Kevin, you changed. I came in like patriotic like John, and I'm walking out of here like a traitor and saying Nippon Steel should buy it. Thank you. I'm walking out of here a traitor, Kevin.
Yeah, I just think it's more complicated of an issue than...
You changed my mind.
Yikes. And hey, I'm pro-American, man.
I'm Benedict Arnold walking out of here now.
Judas.
Oh, man.
Kevin changed my mind, Jill.
He's a good lawyer.
He is a good lawyer. That's why I picked him 25 years ago.
Thank you, Mayor.
On our freaking initial dates.
Yes, when we were in our 30s, back in the day.
Okay, Jill, you heard the whole argument. Do you feel differently?
No, I still don't care.
I love
John, do you feel differently?
I'm going to be honest. I'm not educated enough in this topic.
And I'm not saying I am, by the way.
I'm not saying I am either.
I'm just giving my opinion.
But like the pros and cons of foreign company coming in and buying something like a steel company. I need to know more.
I think that Kevin convinced me that this is too good of a deal to pass up.
We'll see what happens. Well, someone put on chat, interesting enough, they said BP. Used to be Standard Oil. Now it's owned by England.
Right.
I mean, there you go.
BP
right in our
stands
own
for
backyard.
British Petroleum.
Yes.
Wow. But they're our allies. So is Japan.
Yeah, that's different. Right?
We never went to war with England. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Yeah. A couple times.
Right, shit. I don't like this argument.
Yeah, one big one. One big war. Yeah.
Well, don't forget the War of 1812. That was no funny.
Yeah, right. All right, let's talk some Eric Adams. Who's Eric Adams? Mayor of New York. He just got indicted.
Whoa.
And it wasn't a big surprise. There was some rumors in the air. It was alleged in the article. Mayor Adams feels that the rumors in the air came from the federal prosecutors who leaked information about his case into the public, according to him, to hurt his chances at getting reelected in the primary.
Well, he can think that, but the reality is this, from what I've read, this is not like, oh, he did something last month. This is like, hey, for the last 10 years,
dude, a decade-long investigation into this guy since he was a councilman in Brooklyn.
Yeah, and then he was borough president in Brooklyn, and so like this is ongoing, and I think the feds probably just said, you know what, we're going to do some raids. Enough's enough.
See, I think so. This is allegedly, according to the indictment, Mayor Adams was receiving like perks from the Turkish government on the sly. Silly things like he wouldn't fly on anything other than Turkish Airlines, and he would.
I mean,
and he would
they do have great flight attendant outfits, I would say.
And he buys the cheapest seat on the plane, and then they upgrade him to first class and stuff that's off the books, so you wouldn't know, right? But the federal prosecutors are pretty smart people.
Yeah.
And they find these things out because they're pretty damn smart people.
Like man, has he got a lot of points on Turkey? He's just trying to
dude,
add up all his Turkish Airlines
He's like
points.
flying from New York to San Diego. He takes Turkish Air. It's like, what the hell's going on?
It wasn't even a route.
New York to Philly.
He has to fly like around the world to get to...
Stop in Istanbul. Come on, back to, and it flies
you were
back to
going
Newark.
To California, and you flew to Istanbul first. Like,
I love the Blue Mosque.
What's with Turkey, though? Wasn't the...
They said
Democrat senator, that guy with the gold bars.
Yes,
in his, wasn't that a Turkey
New Jersey.
That's right.
That was a
was
Turkey
he Turkey
thing.
too or Egypt?
I think it was Turkey.
Hold it.
I thought it
Jill,
was
do you
Egypt,
remember?
maybe.
Type it in.
I have no.
Yeah,
We
what's
have it
his
in our
name?
notes. We have it in our notes. Here, I'll look it up.
So in the meantime, what I
what's
read
his
about
name? Bob Menendez, right?
Yeah, Bob Melendez.
Melendez.
Menendez. No, you're right, Menendez.
I think it
Melendez
was
the
okay.
murderers.
Let's
the
go
murderers
on.
Melendez. Yeah.
Let's
The same
go on the
family?
record. Go on the record. What do you guys think it was?
I think
Which
it was
country?
Turkey.
I say Egypt.
It was. I'm going to say.
Look at this. We're doing a live database.
Kevin
search.
and I are
God, I
both
hope you
like
didn't
on the
delete
same
that
page.
one.
I'm probably would delete all of them.
Oh, no.
Tom just deleted all of season 6. So the interesting thing about the Turkey thing with Adams was it had to do with allegedly giving him a break on a fire department inspection for a diplomatic tower that Turkey was building.
Right.
Like just as one example. But like
open this tower, skip the inspection.
But like,
Yes.
and like a lot of his people that are around him have recently resigned, like his top lawyer, the health department commissioner, the police commissioner, and there's all these other things that are going to come out of this, including, I heard there's like a probe into a possible nightclub protection racket.
Oh, that's like mobster stuff.
Yeah, man. So that'll be interesting if that comes out. These are all allegations, and this is just the rumor mill, but we're going to hear a lot about this, and it's just it's a black eye on New York City, obviously. It's a black eye for Eric Adams, big black eye for him. And he was already facing a lot of Democratic opposition. And interestingly enough, he came out as a moderate. I mean, like Eric Adams is not
pro-police.
Yeah, he's like, he's been like anti-migrant in, trying to like deal with the migrant problems in New York, very pro-police. He's been hit by the progressive wing of the party a lot. So this is, it's just a really interesting story. He's got a really interesting, backstory, biography on how he came up, and here he is with, this stunning indictment that's now hanging over his head.
Well, if he had competition for the mayoral race
before
this, the chum is really in the water now.
I find Menendez. I can't find which country it was.
All right. Well,
how about I just go to Google?
Why don't you just Google it?
I was trying to use our excellent LOCPOD database.
I'm just going to do Menendez. Egypt. Let's start there.
I think it was Egypt.
I wonder now. I'm starting to doubt myself.
There it is.
Yes.
Acting as Egypt's whatever.
So Turkey is going after the mayor of New York. Egypt going after senator from New Jersey.
Yes.
Nobody coming after the mayor of Hammond, I can tell you that.
Turkey's not
other than
interested.
Dude, there's a Polish national.
Why is Tom flying Turkish Air?
No, there's a Polish national after me all the time.
Yes, she
Ooh, kinky.
I fly lot with her too.
Is that what it's called? Lot?
Lot. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Egypt. Fuck.
There's no money. There's no gold bars.
Coming from
with
Poland,
that
from
Polish
Warsaw?
national.
No.
She's just a cute Polish national with no gold bars. So.
Oh, there's the
You get
title.
pierogi.
Cute Polish national
with no gold bars. What'd you say, Jill?
But you get pierogi.
Yes.
I wish I could talk Polish. Marissa could talk Polish.
Yes, I'm sure she speaks it a little bit.
Yep.
Probably but more than a little bit.
All right, so we're gonna close with the gold bar.
Oh, speaking of gold, right?
Bar. Yeah,
oh,
the gold
God,
watch. But
awesome.
first, I want to remind everybody again that on Tuesday, which is our next show, we have Lake County Councilman and current Republican nominee for the 1st Congressional District of Indiana, Randy Niemeyer, is going to be our guest on the show on LOCPOD.
Tune in.
He's coming in live for an interview. He'll be in the 3rd segment. and it'll be a good show. And we're going to be pros, and we're going to ask him tough questions, and he knows that because he's coming on LOCPOD, but we are going to be professional, and he's going to leave here. Honestly, my goal with this is we get more Republican candidates here.
Yeah.
And as long as we could show the Republican candidates we're going to be fair, I think that they'd be more inclined to come on here. So I want to thank Randy for being brave enough during an election to come on LOCPOD. Right, Kevin?
Yes, we're looking forward to it.
Right, Kevin?
Yes, sir. We're looking forward. No, I am looking forward to having Randy on. I just hope
you know Randy too. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I know, absolutely know him, and hope Congressman Frank takes us up on our offer as well.
I do too.
Well, all right. This I couldn't. When I saw this, John, I couldn't believe it. Okay.
Really?
Well,
is anything surprising to you anymore?
No, I guess not. But this was. I shouldn't say I couldn't believe it. I was just kind of like aghast again. So our former president has decided it is in his best interest to now hawk very expensive watches.
$100,000 each, right?
$100,000 each. There are 147 of them, and he's got one, and he wants you to buy a $100,000 watch.
He's like, they would have been $50,000 if Obama wasn't president.
Yeah, right. Oh, look at inflation. These were nothing. These were $20,000 before inflation. But actually, before we go to, and we're going to play his little clip with him hawking this. My favorite quote of the day was somebody grabbed an old Marco Rubio quote that said from a debate with Trump, "If he hadn't inherited $200 million, you know where Donald Trump would be right now? Selling watches in Manhattan." So he's selling watches from Mar-a-Lago. But John, can you play the clip? And this, we're gonna. Tom, you want to lead us out, or do you want to just?
Oh, sure. We'll go ahead and close out the show with this. So I just wanted to point out to those of you with an extra 100,000 burning a hole in your pocket, DJT is wearing number 1, and you could buy 147 of the other ones for $100,000 each, and you'll be just like Donald J. Trump wearing a big, expensive gold watch. So, anyway, thank you for listening to LOCPOD. We appreciate you, Jill. It's great to see you in the show again. See you tonight at ELO.
Yeah.
Nope.
For pizza beforehand. Do you like ELO?
Yeah, I like it.
Come on, Jill.
No, it's too late. You lost me.
Damn.
Statute of limitations. I bought my ticket yesterday.
That's why we have an ELO album up right in front of John.
Been staring at it for seasons.
I bought my ticket yesterday for the record, Marissa and I. So, Jay Vez, see you tonight.
Yeah.
And Kevin Smith.
I'll be there tonight.
See you tonight.
Don't bring me down. No, 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 no. See you on Tuesday with Randy Niemeyer as our special guest, and we're going to close it out with Donald Trump's pitch for your last $100,000. So take care, everybody. LOCPOD's out. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Special. I think you're going to love it. My new Trump watches. We're doing quite a number with watches, and the quality to me is very important. The Trump Victory Tourbillon. This isn't just any watch. It's one of the best watches made. It's a tourbillon watch with almost 200 grams of gold and more than 100 real diamonds. That's a lot of diamonds. I love gold. I love diamonds. We all do.
What?
Only 147 of these extraordinary watches will ever exist in the world, and owning one puts you in a very exclusive club. I have watch number 1, and I'm going to keep it. It's mine, and that's the way I want to have it. Each watch is numbered and extremely rare, a true collector's item, and it includes a personal letter signed by me. Get your Trump watch right now. Go to gettrumpwatches.com. It's Trump time.